Hi everyone, my name is Anushka Pons, and my paper is titled The Moral Dilemma of Anonymity in Dark Web Environments. My main research question is when does online anonymity protect individuals and when does it start to enable harm? This question came because on the dark web, things could be both used as a tool for privacy and a place for crime. My thesis statement was although anonymity on the dark web can protect free expression and personal privacy, it also allows people to commit crime without being held accountable. Therefore, a balance is needed to protect privacy while also preventing misuse. I chose this topic because it connects to the modern day and how ethical theory, technology, and law. And it also forces us to think about how far digital freedom should go before it becomes dangerous. My references, I reviewed six key sources, and we can start off first with Michael Chertoff. His work in the Journal of Cyber Policy, made in 2017, gave me a lot of insight into how the dark web challenges public policy and cybersecurity. He explains that total anonymity can weaken public trust in online systems. Second, Chertoff and Simon, 2015, another one of his works, discussed how the dark web impacts internet and internet governance. Their study really highlighted the regulation that focuses on specific crimes instead of banning technologies altogether. My third source was by Eric Jardine in 2015, which analyzed tools like Tor, which many people associate with illegal use, were originally created to protect privacy and free speech, especially for journalists and whistleblowers who use that website to not be tracked by either their government who isn't allowing them to use the internet freely or people who are tracking their movements to commit illegal acts against them. Fourth, Kavitha and her colleagues in 2023 discussed how anonymity protects both privacy and cybercrime, showing how difficult it is to draw ethical boundaries in digital spaces. I also compared, and forgive my pronunciation, Oscar Daughter's 2023 thesis on policing the dark web, and it captures the law enforcement side of the debate. She calls online anonymity a double-edged sword. On one edge, it protects vulnerable users, and on the other, it allows criminals to use the website to exploit the protection that it also provides for the other people. Her research also highlights how policing the dark web is extremely difficult. And moving forward, Paletsky's 2018 study, which is my last source I used, compared the global perspective of the dark web and how the European Union's GDPR versus US privacy law. Paletsky's work helped me really understand how different countries interpret privacy and security values, and how the EU prioritizes privacy much more compared to the US. Together, these references really helped me evaluate anonymity as both a human's right issue and a security challenge. The pros and cons of anonymity on the dark web. Really, on the positive side, anonymity protects a lot of vulnerable users. For example, activists, journalists, whistleblowers, in countries where censorship depends on tools like Tor to speak freely without retaliation. Jardine in 2015 emphasized that anonymity can actually defend democracy and human rights. It provides digital autonomy, the ability for people to control their identity and what information they share online. However, the cons are a lot more serious. For example, anonymity also allows for illegal markets, identity theft, and exploitation, and in more severe cases, illegal uses of uh, pornography. Chertoff in 2017, one of my other sources, explains that criminals use encrypted information and cryptocurrencies to stay untraceable, for example, Bitcoin, which makes prosecution in other countries extremely difficult. In my analysis, I really wanted to make sure the key issue wasn't technology itself, but more so how people use it. Technology becomes morally neutral, but human behavior really gets unethical or ethical and a lot ch more challenging to differentiate which one is which. So we really do face a dilemma in protecting people's privacy, and it often means losing visibility, and enforcing security can really invade people's personal freedoms. The analysis of global impact. Anonymity on the dark web is not just a national issue, but a global one because the internet has no borders and virtually allowed, is virtually able to use around the entire world. Different governments handle privacy and surveillance in much different ways. For example, the European General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, is one of the most comprehensive privacy laws in the world. It prioritizes individual privacy and gives citizens strong control over their personal data. In the contrast, the United States has no single federal privacy law. Instead, it focuses more on national security and law enforcement concerns. This means that the US tends to value protection from cyber threats over personal privacy. The opposing approaches show that the ethical tension between freedom and control is taken extremely seriously. A global issue like dark web anonymity cannot be solved by a singular country alone. That's why, in my conclusion, I propose that future research should explore how international legal frameworks should standardize dark web regulation without infringing on people's personal privacy rights on the digital world. Finding that balance between accountability and freedom is going to be crucial in determining how to protect users worldwide. For my conclusion, this research really shows that technology, especially the dark web, is not the main issue, and it's not inherently good or bad. It's just how the moral impact really depends entirely on how people use it. Anonymity can protect free expression and privacy, but it can also shelter illegal behavior. Looking at global policies like GDPR and the US cyber laws reveal that extreme positions, whether total privacy or total surveillance, fail to address the real issue. Instead, we need a balanced, cooperative global approach that promotes accountability without destroying digital freedom. Ultimately, protecting human rights and maintaining public safety should remain our top priority in this evolving digital world. Thank you for watching my presentation on the moral dilemma of anonymity in the dark web environments.